Hello, 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 everyone. My name is Tiffany Bell, and I am the host of the CEO Corner. As always, I have a wonderful guest set up for you guys to hear from. But before we go into that, I want to talk real quick about our affirmation journal. Now, our guest that's coming up, she is a part of this journal. But for those of you who've not heard anything about it, we always take a moment out to make sure that we highlight it. So this is an affirmation journal. And basically, what that means is that it is full 76 days worth of life giving affirmations that a woman can use in order to retrain her mind, in order to reset her heart, in order to really hear from the Lord, really just center herself and be able to take positive steps forward, right? So every morning she can wake up, or every night before going to bed, however you take your quiet time, you can open this up and you'll find inspiring affirmations, scriptures, quotes, in here from women who have used these affirmations in a way that has been life-giving and mind-changing for them as well. So 39 women, 76 days worth of, again, life-changing affirmations that are here for you. Now, of course, how do you get a copy of it? Well, if you go to our website, it's uncommoncourage.cc /affirm women. Again, uncommoncourage.cc /affirm women, and you can get a copy of this. So now that I've done our introduction, I can't wait for you to meet one of the ladies that has helped to make this journal a success. So without further ado, it's almost time to pull her up to the stage. Her name is Gwen Goolsby Tillery, and she is an award-winning author, entrepreneur, success coach, mental health counselor, and speaker with a passion for transforming lives by helping people become healed, whole, and happy so that they can walk in their purpose. She maintains several businesses and is the host of Kingdom News, which airs on Kingdom Purpose TV. Welcome to the show. So excited to talk to you today, Miss Gwen.
Thank you. I am excited to be here. Looking forward to this interview with you.
Yes. So, Miss Gwen, I had the pleasure, maybe about 2 months ago at this point, having an opportunity to show to be interviewed by Miss Gwen on Kingdom Purpose TV. And so she's doing really good things over there, and she's involved with a great deal of things. And so before we hop into your businesses, what I'd like for you to share just real quick, when you are not when you're not on the clock, which, when you're building God's kingdom, it's not often that you're really off the clock, but when you're not actively engaged with your audience or with your community, tell us a little bit about what makes Miss Gwen smile. What do you do to relax? Like, tell me a little bit about the woman behind the brand.
So what makes me relax, or what I do just to kind of take it down, is sitting. I have this reclining chair that I've had probably now, well, this is the second set, but I sit in that chair and I do nothing. I just relax. I watch TV. So I'm kind of picky about the TV that I watch. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I'm like the whole, like Law and Order, Chicago series. And so in my time to relax, you might find me doing something like that. I spend a lot of time, my husband and I, we just will spontaneously go and do something. Like last night, he just spontaneously took me to a comedy show. So I enjoy comedy. I enjoy laughing. I enjoy having fun. But bottom line, like when I have that free time, I really like being spontaneous and kind of doing things on the whim, because, tomorrow's not promised and you don't know. So I try to enjoy every moment that I can to the best of my ability. I know some people would be like, oh, I read. I don't do a lot of reading in my free time, probably because professionally, in terms of ministry and all the other areas of my life, I'm constantly reading and researching and learning. And so for me, in my downtime, I don't want to exhaust any mental energy, if that makes sense, because my brain, My brain, I feel like, is going 24/7. Even in my sleep, I feel like my brain is going. So, yeah, that's what I like to do. Pretty much just kind of just chill and not do much.
Oh no, I understand. I'm very similar. When I want to relax, I like TV, honestly, and I want to watch like old shows. A show where, regardless of whether or not I'm looking at the screen, I can hear Andy Griffin's voice and know it's Andy, and still be able to follow the show and just let my mind honestly free float. So no, I get you. The last thing I want to do to actually relax is to read. Again, same difference. Is, I'm doing that constantly. I'm writing a good bit. So when I want to chill and get away, I need mindless activity.
Yes.
Uh, so Kingdom Purpose TV. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, Kingdom Purpose TV, that came about as a process, as with almost everything in life. And so, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I started the Success Arise YouTube channel. And the focus was on interviewing people to be able to share their stories, to be able to educate, encourage, empower, and inspire, which is what I love to do. And so I brought on various people onto the show and interviewed them so they could share what they were doing within the community.
Mhm.
And I was excited about that. And I continued on with that for a while. And then I started thinking about actually launching my own network. Yeah, I'm always, like I said, my brain is always going 24/7. And so I actually started doing some research and had the numbers and, kind of knew what I needed to do. And for me, I'm always like kind of checking in with where I'm at, emotionally, and in terms of me being able to balance all the things that I'm thinking about in my mind and checking in with God. And I realized that probably was going to be a bit much and not what I needed to do. But I did feel like I needed to bring it to a larger platform. So I was on social media one day, and you get these random ads that pop up. So this random ad popped up for Kingdom Purpose TV. And I was like, okay, this looks interesting. And it was affordable. So I said, okay, well, it won't kill my pockets. You know what? Let me give it a try. And so I completed the online application, which was pretty simple, probably a minute, if that long, to complete. And I actually followed up and called, and I didn't know that I would be calling and speaking directly to the CEO, Bishop Vernon Matthews. And when I called, I spoke with him, and his personality, his demeanor, his character, he was just so humble and such a nice guy. And he told me why he started the platform. He wanted people to have a place that, we could come and spread the gospel without being interrupted, without being censored, because this was kind of in the height of COVID, where churches were transitioning to having their services online with Facebook. And a lot of times they were being, cut off, or there were issues. And he said he just wanted a place where people could come without those interruptions or problems. And he launched Kingdom News and Kingdom Purpose TV. And so I was excited about the mission that they had. And I kind of felt like, okay, this is the place that I'm supposed to be. And from there, it's kind of history. I connected with them. And then actually, because I really appreciated what he was doing, I said, listen, if there's something that I could do to assist you in terms of, what I do with marketing, I'd love to be able to assist. And within a couple of months, I actually joined the team.
Okay. So what has that overall experience been like since you started off, sounds like start off YouTube, moved into TV show, now you're part of the team. Like, how are you balancing all of what you're doing?
Oh gosh, you know what? I'm real and I'm honest. Sometimes I don't know how I balance it all. I will say this: I have become very intentional about making sure that I'm doing a good job of balancing it, and so I try to dedicate certain times and certain days to specific things. So, when I create interviews for Kingdom News, I usually do them on Mondays and Tuesdays. So for me, the balancing requires that I be very intentional about being organized in what I do. So scheduling that, knowing Wednesdays, that's the day I usually do any editing. Thursday is the day that I upload it. And so I've just found a way to really balance everything. And the one thing that I do now, which I was horrible at doing, is that I make sure I put everything in my calendar. Because if I don't, I will overlap, and then that's just not good. So I try to make sure that I'm responsible and organized by keeping a calendar and by having a daily and weekly plan and monthly plan that I follow.
Okay, all right. So I remember, that reminds me. You remember we had a conversation one day about automating things in the back end, right? Just to kind of
Yes.
help again, so that we're not, so again, we don't have to work so hard with our hands, just being able to, just put some processes in place that can, keep the business running while we keep the business running on the front end. And so in that conversation, and, we didn't really go into detail about what we're going to talk about today, but I know that you have another little project underneath your sleeve that's coming up. Would you be interested in sharing that?
Excited about it. The main title of the book is Through the Fire, and it is a anthology, a collaboration of various authors that have gone through different issues within their lives. So it could be from Tiffany's story, who talks about losing her husband at a young age and how she was able to kind of go through that process and be where she is at now. I share a little bit about myself and my struggle, which is interesting. Let me just stop and say, when I decided to do this, I had so many different areas that I could go in terms of what I was going to share. So I kept praying, like, okay, well, what is it that I'm going to share? And the Holy Spirit led me to share about my struggles with identity and feeling good about who I am, and finally being able to come to a place where I see myself the way God sees me. And so I share that, and that has been a journey. That's really been a journey. And most people are surprised when I say that, because they say, oh, but you seem so confident. And I think that's why I really wanted to share that, because I wanted to break down that myth. That, things may look one way, but they're often not what they look like. And so I wanted to let men and women know that, it's okay to be in that place, but that we've got to do the work to move beyond that place and understand that we are truly fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And so I also have someone else that will share about being adopted. So the stories range. And what I love about this project is that when I looked in our research and I saw most of the book collaborations that have taken place, they tend to be all men or all women. So this collaboration is a mix of men and women. And I just think that that's powerful. I believe that, both men and women, we need to be encouraged. We need to be inspired. And men need to know just as much, because most of them I found out there are done by women. But men need to know that there's stories of overcoming and stories of survival and stories of going through the fire and coming out on the other side smelling like no smoke. They need to know that. They need to understand that and be able to walk in that also. So I thought it was really important to be able to include men. And so I have several men that are participating in this project. So I'm excited about that.
So share with the audience just a couple of topics that the guys are going to be sharing on.
So one gentleman shares his story about being adopted. Another gentleman shares his story about overcoming drug and alcohol addiction. I have another gentleman that shares his story, and it's centered around men issues related to sex and understanding that, God created him to be a man that is dedicated to one woman, and that whole scenario that we never talk about in the church. So that's going to be powerful. Yeah, these are stories that are going to be a little bit different. I can say that too. And I'm excited about that because, again, I feel that one of the ways that we begin to grow and heal as people is being able to be real
Yes,
about
ma'am.
our stories. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we're not real about our stories. We kind of gloss over things and give you just a bit of it, which doesn't help the next person. In fact, I say that it discourages the next person because when that person is going through something, they feel like it's an isolated thing, that it's
You're the
only
only
them, when in
one.
all actuality, so many people have gone through it, but no one ever shares or talks about it. I have a couple in the book also,
Okay.
and they have been married, I believe it's 35 years, and they got married young. So they talk about the process of going through the marriage and the importance of communication and kind of doing some real soul searching amongst themselves individually so that they could be better for the marriage.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. I love that you have such a variety of one. It is, not just an all female or an all male book. I love that it's a combination of the two. But then, like you said, the topics are deep topics. It's not a glaze over, that and prayerfully, the people that pick up a copy of the book, that they will spend time and they'll dig deep and they will hear themselves from the Lord, so that again they're able to walk forward in power, to walk forward in God's grace. Earlier when you said that people look at you and they see confidence, and that's what really kind of caused you to want to share your story so that people can just know the full story. What I thought instantly is that we don't always understand what the look of grace looks like. And I
Mm,
feel like that's what people see. On the inside, I think there are lots of people who, one, have identity issues. I think there are lots of people who are struggling with addiction, just struggling with different things, but I think it's a combination of God's grace that does multiple things. His grace, it shields the world from just jumping any deeper, any harder on them. Two, it also, gives us the confidence that we need as we walk forward, even if we're walking forward, full of fear, or what I'm saying is that his grace, it's beautiful. I love it. One of my regular prayers is, Lord, cause your grace to abound towards me, let it overtake me. And so
yes,
when people see anything good about Tiffany, typically what they're seeing is God's grace. It's the real Tiff is something to deal with. But thankfully to the Lord, he's really brought me far, and now we as kingdom builders get to let God's light shine and attract people to him, so that he can be all that he would like and saw for them, and cause them to walk into their purpose, which again, I love the title of your TV show. So with that, now what I want to go into is your affirmation. Right. So your
yes,
affirmation, it touches on purpose. And so what I'd like for you to do is just take a few minutes out and to share with the audience, the affirmation that you contributed, not in this book. I know that you're in this book, and we have one that's coming up as well. But her affirmation is so powerful. I want you to take out a couple of minutes and just kind of talk about that for me.
yes, thank you. So there were several that I could choose from, but I spoke to the thing that, is really what I'm passionate about. And that is that I was created with a plan and with a purpose, and I will walk in it. I am going to walk in it. And so the reason I wanted to kind of pull from that one is it kind of speaks to the conversation that Tiffany and I was just having in terms of the struggles. I only identified that thing of identity as one of the struggles thus far. But, in life, there are so many different struggles and so many different issues that we face. When I think about my life over the last 10 years, I can hear what Tiffany was saying about God's grace. His grace is truly sufficient. It is absolutely sufficient. Um, it allows us to keep going and keep moving, but it doesn't necessarily stop life from coming our way. And so the last 10 years, I've experienced so many different things that probably could have stopped me, should have stopped me. However, I just keep in at the forefront. I can't even say at the back of my mind, at the forefront, that for me, I know that God created me for a specific plan, and for a specific purpose. And when I leave here and I stand before him, I want to hear those words, well done, thy good and faithful servant. And so for me, no matter what comes my way, I just keep pushing. I just keep pushing. And unfortunately, for many people, they have this belief perhaps that they are here for a reason and for a purpose, but then life happens and they can get discouraged. I just want to encourage you that not only should you not be discouraged and not stop, but that the very things that come your way that could destroy you, that could stop you, that bring trauma, those are the things that help to shape you. And those are the things that often become what we are passionate about. And so when I say you are created with a plan and with a purpose, and you should walk in it, I'm going to walk in it. It means no matter what comes your way, no matter what happens, I'm not going to let that thing stop me from achieving what it is that I was created to achieve. And so for many people, that could be the trauma of something that occurred in your childhood. You know, unfortunately, even in some of the interviews that I've done, and even in the book project, you know, sexual abuse and things around that nature are unfortunately very prevalent in our society. And so when people encounter those things, they experience trauma, and it makes it difficult for them to sometimes be able to heal and be whole and move forward in the things of God. But I just want to encourage somebody who might be in that situation that that doesn't change God's plan for you. It doesn't change why you're here. And you can use that very thing and look at it and become no longer the victim, but the victor in the situation, and use that to propel you, to give you power to walk in what it is that God has called you to walk in. You're still here. So as long as you're here on this earth, there's still plans, there's still purpose, there's still things that God wants you to accomplish. Each and every one of us has been given an assignment or assignments along this journey. And those assignments may change from time to time. I explain that as in, I believe in my heart and hearts of hearts that I was created to be an encourager, you know, to be able to exhort, to be able to empower. And so even before I even had a stronger relationship with God, I was already doing that. I was just doing it under a different assignment when I worked with children as an educator in many different capacities, whether it was a teacher, whether it was an administrator, whether it was when I worked on a child study team. At that season in my life, the assignment was for me to be able to encourage and empower the students who were least likely to succeed, to let them know that they could succeed. That was one assignment. When life happened and I got a significant injury as a result of, I don't even know what, I can't even find what to blame it on, but the end result was that I ended up with herniation and stenosis on several levels in my neck and had to retire early. Again, I could have just given up and thrown in the towel and been like, all right, God, you know what, there's nothing else for me to do. But I know that God is an intentional God. And so I had to push through the pain. I had to figure the physical and the emotional pain. And I had to figure out, okay, God, what is this the next assignment that you have for me? What is it that you would have me to do? Because I know if I'm still here, that there's something that you have for me. And so when I say you have to walk in it, when I say walk in it, I mean that you have to do the work, the difficult work, to get through the process of becoming healed from whatever that situation is that would stop you. Because of course, you know, the goal of the devil is to steal, kill, and destroy, right? To stop us from walking in that purpose. But we have to become so determined that we're going to achieve that goal, that we're not going to let anything or anyone stop us from being able to do that. And so what I do through my programs is I help women, whether it be through coaching or through counseling or through my group programs to help women up level in their nonprofits, their ministry, or their business. I help women to move beyond the trauma, move beyond the barriers. I say move from stuck to unstoppable so that they can become who God has called them to be. And so, again, I provide counseling services, I provide coaching services. Excuse me. Right now, I have a group mentoring program that I run, and there is a monthly fee that is associated with it. It is $29.97, and through that program, I am able to help women go through that process. Excuse me. I'm able to help them move from stuck to unstoppable by giving them the tips, the tools, and the information to empower them.
That I want to go back real quick to something well, really the main thing that I feel like I heard you say is, whenever we've experienced any type of pain or trauma, the what you need to do with that is not to lie down in it. You need to be very intentional to walk forward, like do the work, get up, do whatever it is that you need to do in order to take that, allow the Lord to use that and to repurpose it for his glory, and so that you within yourself can grow. Kind of reminds me of a conversation I had with my son just a couple of days ago. We were talking about working out, and he loves to work out. So, it's the burn of the muscle. When the muscle burns, that's when that, it's being exerted to where it will produce growth. It will produce strength in you. And it's the same thing about us. We as humans, we grow and we mature in the trials. It's in the tribulations that your character is developed. It's in the tribulations that your perseverance grows. It's in the tribulation that your integrity grows. Like, those, oftentimes, for people who are believers, and non-believers, often in those moments, that is when your spiritual life will grow and blossom. And so there's lots of good that comes out of bad. But where do we grow? We don't grow in comfortable places. Like it just doesn't, it just doesn't do it, and so with that, it just gives, I believe, any woman or any person in general, when you're experiencing something, know that it is for your good. It doesn't feel good, but God will work it out for your good. Like, nothing goes wasted with him. And so I love, love, love your affirmation. So I want to kind of wrap up today's show. You ladies, again, just want to make sure that you guys know how to get in touch with Miss Gwen. Miss Gwen, I'll give you a moment just to tell people, where do they find you at if they would like an opportunity to either work with you, either whether it comes to your TV show, whether it's in your group that you mentioned, any type of coaching. I know you got a lot going on. Tell them how to connect with you.
So you can connect with me on any social media platform. On Instagram, it is Gwen Goolsby Tillery or Success Arise. On Facebook, it is also Gwen Goolsby Tillery as well as Success Arise. I am on LinkedIn under Gwen Goolsby Tillery. And to get more details about my programs and a little bit more about what I offer, you can visit www.successarise.com. And the membership program that I mentioned, it is an excellent way for you to come and connect with not only myself, but other women that are in business and ministry and nonprofits that are looking for other like-minded women to be able to connect with and grow with and move forward at the same time. So it is a wonderful, wonderful program, which I had just started in January, but you will not be disappointed.
No, I'm sure you will not be disappointed if you guys decide to connect with her. Miss Gwen is a wonderful person, full of integrity and wisdom. So you will connect and you will grow. I guarantee it. So with that, I want to make sure to say just a couple more things. One, we have another journal coming up, which again, Miss Gwen is a part of that, and it's called Affirmations for a CEO on the Move. And for all of you all that are out listening tonight, thank you so much for your time. You guys take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.